What is up, y'all? I hope you're doing well. We're here for our weekly anchor message where we are looking at our spiritual lessons for the week. Living through soul school, as I like to put it. And we are using the Wild Unknown archetypes and clarifying with the Mystical Moments Tarot. So right off the bat, we've got the Gem, followed by the Flame, followed by the Forest, and then a fourth one came out today, the Ring. Okay, and then underneath Gem, we've got the Empress, underneath the Flame, we've got Justice. Underneath Forest, we've got Three of Wands. And underneath the Ring, we've got Knight of Swords. So, I love how our messages are not all over the place. You could watch an isolated video and get an isolated message at any given time. But I feel like our story is always kind of building and continuing on from the last point. And it always is, it has continuity and it makes sense. So we're here with the Gem and the Empress. And this is tying in for me, all of these messages that have been coming through so loud and clear recently have been in the realm of, it's like this manifest trait. It's like an unmanifest trait that's coming into manifestation where we are, it's like an awakening within an awakening where we can kind of stand outside of ourselves and see it happening in real time. And we're starting to feel the difference and we're starting to witness the difference. And we're in the season of kind of witnessing miracles and little manifestations kind of popping up everywhere. And so the Gem, this is the value that we see coming out of the storms that we've been going through. You know, for the last few months, we've taken our self-reflection into a deeper level. If you are, a regular on this channel, you were probably participating in Teshuvah and Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, right? Just doing that self-reflection and setting that spiritual and mental reset for the year when mankind gets their new soul, right? And even if you've never been into it before, a lot of people were like, yeah, I'm hype, let's do this. And it's been amazing. And I've had people at work that got on the bandwagon. And then we're all excited because Hanukkah comes around and we're soul dry cleaning. Any of the consciousness that we've sort of been faltering on, it's we've had this rebirth and this reawakening. And it's been coinciding with this moment, this crossing of a portal into this new timeline where our up level is happening and we're sort of leaving the old version of the self behind and we're moving into the possibilities of a higher version of self, right? This Empress version where, our intrinsic realms are in balance and our external world is starting to bear the fruit of that. And so with the Gems, this is a lump of raw, material that is put under heat and pressure for a very long time. And the more heat and the more pressure, the more dimension and beauty and radiance can come from the Gem. And this is what gives it its value and its worth. And it's rare and it's hard to find. You have to go seek that out. It's not just everywhere. Dolly Parton said something that I've always found so poignant, and I have lived this truth in my life. But she said, it's hard being a diamond in a rhinestone world. And it is, because in order to be the diamond, you've got to go through some really dark times, going through the thicket and the thorns and not knowing what's on the other side of it. And that's what gives you that strength, that heat, the fire that we walk through. It melds us, right? It gives us our mettle, our grit, and it gives us a depth that can't be taken away, right? We get really worked up about what we perceive as life's failures, but it doesn't matter what we lose, because no one can take away our experience and our earned wisdom and our earned compassion and understanding and discernment. And no one, when we, elevate at a soul level, like, no one can take that back from us, I mean, yeah, you can get really technical and be like, well, you could have amnesia and you could forget everything and but okay, all right. But like, you know what I mean? Like, the essence of it is true. So the more that we embrace the process with what life is giving us right now, which, have been challenges, right? Even in, the climax of holiday season, everything is really great. And there's like tons of blessings thrown at us and then tons of challenges thrown at us at the same time. And we're tired and we're spread thin. And this is where it's actually a gift, because it's in the challenging moments that we can actually see what needs to change and then make those changes in the moment. It's like you're running through the drill, and instead of running through the practice drill in your imagination, it's like, okay, this is it. You're in the battle. You're being provoked. Can you do something differently? Can you react differently this time? Can you avoid your default setting? Can you avoid the pattern, right? And it's not easy. My hostility has been provoked all weekend, and I know that I'm supposed to be working through this. I know that this is the block to one of my dreams. We've been doing these exercises, right, guys? And like, some people have told me that they have actually stopped the video and taken these questions through the workshop, and it has been something that we've been working through in depth, and it's already making changes. I can already see these miraculous things happening. And so, this is some people around me and other people have mentioned this, but basically the exercise that we were working on through Hanukkah basically is a time of, it's a challenging time where we can connect directly to the light to help resolve the things that we perceive as challenges in our lives. But really, the gift is in not overcoming the outer pain and discomfort, but overcoming the part of our ego that needs healing, that's creating that suffering to begin with, the perception that creates suffering. And so the discomfort, the outer discomfort, actually serves as a blessing, because that is the portal through which the healing occurs. And so many times we want to rush into spirituality, go to church, do the transformation work, only because we're trying to avoid our fears, only because we're trying to avoid this discomfort. And so it's helpful to ask the self, are you making these changes because you're wanting to alleviate your discomfort, or are you making these changes because you are wanting to be a better person and bring more light into the world, make the world a better place, like you leave the world better than you found it? And so we're all both of them, and all the time. It's never like we're all like one or the other. But in these moments where we find ourselves wanting to transform just to alleviate our pain, we need to try to shift our perspective, because this is what makes the difference between receiving for the sake of sharing and receiving for the self alone. And so in order to build affinity with the light, we want to train ourselves and become and pray for the Creator to help us become people who want to receive for the sake of sharing and not to receive for the self alone. So that wasn't the exercise that we talked about during Hanukkah. So basically, we embrace the process during Hanukkah. We embrace the dark time and the challenge, and we see that it can offer purpose. There can be purpose in this moment if we utilize it correctly. And so the creator, the light, comes down to us during this dark time of year, or metaphorically speaking, dark time of year, literally speaking, dark time of year, or it can be a challenging, emotionally challenging time of year. And so the creator meets us in our darkness, and we have this unique time period where we have a special connection to this quality of the light that is so miraculously strong that we can't be in the presence of all the time because it would just burn us up. It's too much. So we have this little bit of it, this little window for 8 days. And we can take our prayers to the creator. What do we want to work on? What do we want help with changing within us? See, it's good to look to meet your challenges from within yourself first. Don't immediately want the other person to change or the circumstances to change, right? That's how the miracles happen. When we just use this moment to focus on how we can grow, how we can heal, how we can become better. And so that act of self-sacrifice is the thing that breaks open that shell of negativity within us and allows more of the light of the creator to radiate from without. That gives us more affinity with the light, and that opens us up to the flow of miracles that are available during this time of year. So self-sacrifice and change and transformation equals inner fulfillment, but then translates into outer blessings and abundance and outer harmony and beauty and, all of that involves. But first, it has to happen on the inside, right? Has to happen on a vibrational level, on an emotional level, on a mental perception level, right? Because you can manifest circumstances outside of you and still not be fulfilled. And if you are manifesting things that you're not truly resonating with, they won't stick. So the workshop to figure out what's blocking you in your life and then the things that you want to see manifest right now is this, thus that follows. And I would suggest doing this exercise because it doesn't take but a few minutes to do it initially, like a couple of minutes, not even that. But you will think more about it after the fact. So to keep it spontaneous, it's most helpful to just do it in the moment. So on a piece of paper with a pen and pencil, pause if you need to get these materials, but you don't want to do this digitally. You want to write it down. It's a visual thing. Okay, so pause me, go get your materials and come back. Okay, we're back. Now, make a line down the paper, and on the left side of the paper, write down 3 of the biggest dreams or goals that you really want to see come into fruition right now. This has been the thing that's prominently on your heart, on your mind. It's like these are the 3 things that you want help with, or you want to see flourish, or you want to heal or transcend or get past this, right? So what are the 3? It's mostly on the left side. It's like, what are the 3 goals that you would like to have right now? The biggest ones. Long, recent, whatever. The most precious to you. Now pause, write those down. Don't think too much about it. Just automatically what comes up. Now, after you've written those things down, the next question is to answer on the right side of the paper. What are your 3 main challenges, like within you, that you struggle with in yourself? That maybe have been lifelong themes. Right? Examples would be something like anger issues toward a certain person, or, these are like habitual, like pattern things for you, like your things. What are 3 of your things that you probably have been knowing that you need to work on, or that you have been trying to make an effort, but maybe you feel blocked? 3 things. Okay, now, after you have written those 3 things out without thinking about it too much, it should be something that like your intuition can just throw at you right away. You know yourself, or at least you should. At least this will. Okay. So now number 1 dream is blocked by number 1 challenge. If you can ask the creator to help you overcome that number 1 slot challenge, that is going to bring blessing and open up the fruits of miracles in that dream. Same for number 2. And same for number 3. And even though at first glance you may not think they're connected, but as you'll probably spend a week with this question, and it is worth spending a week with, and journaling with it, and taking a minute. But if you can start to make incremental progress in these areas, it will lead to incremental manifestations and miracles on the other side of that. I have seen this happening this week. Even just having more awareness about it, I have had some of the craziest windfall moments, little fun treats and surprises. It's really, really exciting to see it. And so that's with the pairing of these cards. It's like, wow, we can see that if we embrace the process, we're starting to stand outside of ourselves and go, oh, whoa. Okay, this is starting to get good. This is starting to become fun, and it's starting to become more of a game, because the more I sacrifice myself, the more I foster a sense of forgiveness, compassion, unity, sharing. If I can build unity over division, oh my gosh, something amazing happens. I open myself up for blessing, right? This is the Empress here. The Empress is all 4 queens in one. She is self-mastered in the divine feminine gifts of the material world, right? Being able to nurture and, build a beautiful life and, keep a solid, well-balanced kingdom and orderly, comings and goings, right? In the material world. That's Queen of Pentacles. Queen of Wands is, having her spiritual game together, having her self-identity and willpower and drive and the ability to be, charming and fun and vivacious while doing all of these things and being ambitious in the world, right? That's the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Cups is being intuitive and emotionally, sensitive and nurturing and understanding and deep and philosophical and, intuitive and empathic, and sometimes they over nurture, right? So this is like the Queen of Cups with boundaries. And then we've got the Queen of Swords, who is savvy. She ain't suffering no fools. She's wise to the game. She is a shrewd and sharp woman who cannot, be fooled so easily, who cannot be taken advantage of, right? She doesn't just trust everyone. You have to earn her trust. But once you get on her side, she is a fierce advocate for you. So the Queen of Swords is witty and intelligent and a confident communicator. So the Empress is able to master all of those kingdoms. And because of it, she is the union of the spiritual and the physical. The union of divine source with the human soul. The union of divine feminine qualities in the self and the divine masculine qualities of the self. The divine feminine being, who are you inside? How do you feel? How are you intuitively connected to spirit? Or do you have this faith that is, it doesn't need logic, but that's comfortable being playful and absurd, right? Are you, creative and expressful, expressive in that? Do you are you intuitive? Do you listen to that intuition? So there are these divine feminine qualities. The divine feminine can wait, can receive, whereas the divine masculine quality of the self is the part of you that you put out, right? This is how you act. This is what you bring into the world. This is how you show up. This is how you behave. This is how you give and take action and share and initiate. And this is how you express yourself in a way, your outer expression. So she's the perfect balance of both. So all of this is coming together, all of this transformation, and it's coming into this outer expression, and things are really starting to take root and they're starting to sprout. And so the flame with justice is like our fire is coming back, like our motivation, our inspiration, and the flame is very delicate, right? It can really be blown out if we are living a life that is forced, that is not true to us. If we're out of alignment, then that fire is getting dimmer and dimmer and dimmer. So it's when we're cutting things out that aren't in alignment, that aren't helping us move into a new story, anything that's keeping us stuck in the past or in old ways or in old patterns or in these lower energies and mindsets and perceptions, or maybe just in, habits that keep us in, negative circumstances or that yield negative symptoms because of them. It's like these things are putting our flame out. And so we are like seeing, okay, all of this change, all of this transformation, all the positive effort to make positive change, I'm seeing that it's really bringing all my life back into balance. Like things are starting to balance out. Like, if you've spent a life having, going through a lot of difficult cycles, even if they were no creation of your own, you're like, wow, when am I ever going to catch a break? It's like suddenly the tables are starting to shift, and the difficulties that have served to make you into the person that you are have served their purpose. And so now that's part of leaving that old timeline behind. It's like we don't have to constantly look over our shoulder for the next crisis. It's like maybe as we've grown and we've changed, like things can start balancing out, and the fulfillment on the inside is starting to become fulfillment on the outside. So and then even the more that things balance out on the inner realms, right? In the soul, there's these different virtues and governing forces within. And so as we're doing this transformative work and healing and healing those parts of our egos, it's like those governing forces within, they're starting to balance out and starting to have some kind of level security, right? And balance and stability. And so now it's like, oh, okay, we've got some stability that we can now catch our breath and build on and grow and evolve from there until we hit our max and we plateau, and we need life to come up and stir up the pressure again to, again, evolve us. But finally, we're getting to that place where the worst is behind us. We're getting to catch our breath, and now the fire is coming back. And now it's like we've got like good judgment and a good idea of what we want to see happen, and we're making things right, and we're really like doing that tikkun healing to balance the scales within, right? Within our, like offloading some of the judgment that needed to happen in order to change us, so that we can be leading more on the side of mercy and blessing. Like that's the two different sides of the scale. It's like mercy and blessing and judgment. Judgment is not punishment, but it is just the purification process needed to alleviate the negativity, to do the alchemy work of transforming that so that it can be on the positive side. Because energy is neither created nor destroyed. It's just changed and moved back and forth on the scale. Oh, okay, so we're feeling good. We're starting to get into that next level where we've gone past the old base camp 1 plateau, and now we're moving into a next level. 3 of Wands is a moment where this character here has expanded her vision. She's left the comforts of home, left the comfort zone, and now is looking ahead at the great expanse. What is coming? What am I ready for? So this is about really expanding our vision. And it's like she's like standing straight in front of the forest. And it's like here she's about to walk through this portal almost and go into life's next great journey. And it's the thicket of the unknown here, right? But this is where the hero's journey occurs. We don't know what's in there. We don't know quite where the path is going to take us. We don't know if the path goes all the way through, or if we're going to have to figure it out for ourselves at some point. The forest is full of mysteries. It's full of friends and foes and tricksters and saints. And, we hardly ever know who's who. And the people rarely look the part. So here we are setting off on our hero's journey once more and our heroine's journey, because the hero's journey is the divine masculine. It's the outer experience, right? It's the movie that we're watching. But the heroine's journey is actually the emotional subplot of the story that we're watching. It's the inner journey. It's the self-discovery and the growth that happens because of the outer journey. So we're getting ready to go into this next level, and we're in this limbo right now where we're learning to embody this new way of looking at life, this new consciousness, new perceptions, new patterns, new ways of showing up. We're getting past those old reflexes. So we're actually taking in and alchemizing the embodiment of the wisdom and the spiritual healing and transformation that we've been going through. And we're doing this, and we're getting ready to launch and, go right into the forest again. So very, very fun. And it's interesting too, because this Knight of Swords, it's like the clarity of like knowing what to do. I know what to do, and I know how to use my wits. I know how to communicate this effectively, and I have the power of my convictions, and I'm ready to go, and I'm ready to charge forward, like with passion in my heart. And like the way that they describe this Knight of Swords, like the Knight of Swords generally is like fast moving. I know what needs to be done. I'm going to do it. I can see the details. Like it's aggressive help. It's fast, pushing things forward very quickly. In this particular instance, it has a feminine like softness and quality to it, where this is like, you have this heart-centered mission and you believe in it, and you are trying to use your intellect and words and ways you can communicate to share these ideas and share your mission with others, right? And do what needs to be done. So this is also like embracing the process, because it's aligning us with our soul's purpose. And so the ring is like embracing life's cyclical nature. And we are like in this eternal, everlasting, infinite cycle, right? And it's like we're always changing and we're never changing. And we're always, going through these cycles of growth and evolution, and it kind of never stops. And so, embracing the cyclical nature of the process is a way to establish more affinity with the light of the Creator. The Creator is never changing, and yet always growing, evolving, and expanding. When I have been thinking about the word eternal over the past couple of years, it's like Spirit has given me another understanding of it. It's not necessarily about something that's always been and always will be. It's not like temporal. It's the quality and essence of something that is ongoing and unchanging and unfluctuating and doesn't stop and start and stop and start. It is ever flowing. The light is ever flowing. It's not fluctuating. It is always eternally pouring out to us. So, but at the same time, always expanding, always growing, always becoming more. So it's like we're forever changing, and yet at the same time, on a spiritual level, we're never changing. We are always perfectly whole and one with the light on our deepest level within. And yet, when we start getting more towards the surface layers of the material world, that's where we're changing, right? Our soul changes, but slowly over time, and then sometimes in an instant, right? But the body, it's a more obvious changing process. So embracing the cycle of life that we're in right now, because nature is all about cycles. So we're always going to be going through them. So we're never going to be out of the process of learning and growing and evolving. It's always going to circle back around. So we might as well embrace it and have fun and let it, fill us with passion and purpose, right? not make us feel despair, like we'll never arrive, right? There's nowhere to arrive to. The arrival day is like your death day. So don't be too hurried to get there. Was there anything else I wanted to say about the eternal? Oh yeah, I did want to talk about cause consciousness versus effect consciousness. So another thing about being unchanging and having affinity with the light is part of this growth and process is to build stronger and deeper certainty in the light of the Creator. This is faith that is like the Hebrew word emunah, which is faith that it goes beyond reason, beyond logic, beyond, proof, right? So the Creator, the light, was the cause of all creation. The Creator is not affected or changing. We just talked about that. It's infinite, ongoing light that is shared. It is the overall tendency of beingness. It is love. It is creation. It is sharing. It is not changing. It is the cause. We are the effect. Our lowest human animalistic nature is in an effect state of consciousness all the time. Oh, the wind blew. Oh, I'm so scared of this. Oh, this is threatening to me. Oh, I am insecure in this moment. Oh, I'm hungry now. There's a slight chill in the air. The degree of the room is changed by 1, like freezing. Oh, I'm uncertain about finances. I'm in a panic. I am going to be angry. I am going to be, I'm hangry. Effect consciousness is anytime the outer circumstances change, you're affected by it. Whether you're buy now before there's, while supplies last, you're I have to buy now, affect consciousness. Panic, group think, being affected by everything all the time. When you think of enlightened, masters, they're so chill. They're so, unaffected by anything. They're just stable. Doesn't always sound the most exciting, right? But those highs and lows that the ego takes you on, I don't know, you start to value them less. But yeah, so in order to build more affinity with the light, it's the more we grow our faith and certainty in the light, the easier it is to master the practice of trying to be in a state of cause consciousness. Because when you have certainty in the light and you're in a situation where all of a sudden you're thrown a curveball and you're in financial trauma and you're oh my gosh, this is a scary situation, you can either respond by getting into a cold sweat, stroke level, panic, trying to come up with any kind of solution you can as fast as you can, and then often making costly mistakes. Instead, cause consciousness would say, I'm not going to do anything until I sit with this and let all the emotions pass, and I'm going to pray for guidance and strength. Creator can help me through this. This could all be an illusion, and the moment that I am relaxed that it's all going to be okay, it could all go away. But otherwise, I know that Creator has never forsaken me, and I can take it easy and take a breath, take a beat, and not react. I am going to instead choose with sovereignty to turn inward and make a conscious choice about how to meet this moment. The more stable you are, the more consistent your energy is, the more prominent your influence is going to be in any situation. Think about a radio signal, right? When a radio signal is cutting in and out, you can't get a good reception. You can't hear the message. You can't, So it's just the same with vibration and magnetism. If you want to be the cause or the energetic presence in a space that's the most effective, then you need to be less affected by anything. You need to choose to set your vibration and your mood and your belief and your consciousness at a thermostat and keep it there. And this is a practice. Obviously, we're all working on this. None of us are Jesus, but that's where Jesus was at. He was unaffected by anything. Like nothing was going to throw him off of his purpose. It wasn't that like Jesus didn't have emotions. Jesus flipped the table in the market because he did not agree with what was going on, but he had righteous anger. It wasn't like he was just going around everywhere like, oh, fucking Roman Empire. They're just so up my ass. Like, oh, I'm scared. Oh, I'm an enemy of the state. They're going to kill me. I've got to stop what I'm doing because, I don't know, in my village, they never really got it either. Like, Jesus couldn't be in an effect consciousness. He was in such a cause consciousness that 2,000 years later, we're still talking about this man who walked around and went to some cities and was able to meet with some people and like give a talk. Like, this is a big deal, right? This is a person who had such a presence that they were able to change mankind. You know how we were talking about in the weather report yesterday, the humankind, the mankind card came up? Think about that. Think about the effect that Jesus Christ had, whether you agree with him or not, on the zeitgeist of humankind. This was a man with no internet connection. He did not have Google. He was walking on foot to like village to village, telling people things that they did not want to hear and did not agree with, or at least half the people. And then half the people were like, tell us more, Jesus. And then the other part of the people were confused and they were like, I don't know about this. I think he's demonic. But he was cause consciousness. Nothing could stop him. He was doing his Father's business. And because of that, his wanting to be the greatest vessel of sharing for the light, it was for the sake of sharing and not for the self alone. He was the most powerful. He could channel miracles. He could channel magical miracles that you wouldn't even believe. And then he was able to, more importantly, and this is why Jesus was like, I don't even want to do the miracles. They're getting so hung up on the miracles, they're not even taking in the consciousness. The consciousness shifted mankind forever. On a soul level, on a metaphysical level, on a spiritual level, on a surface level, on a political level, like everything. Jesus affected the whole world for like thousands of years and forever to come, right? So think about that. Think about how it's like one person doing that deep work within, that inner transformation, how that can translate in your outer efforts. It can expand them. Because when you think about, like, literally, if you compared now to then, and you're like, okay, well, there's this dude in the Middle East who's been walking around and talking to people. There's a lot of people now that, like, are walking around trying to talk to people, right? You know? Think about the impact of his actions. And he got a whole empire bugging. They were like, we can't handle him. We can't keep him contained. He's an enemy of the state. And this is like not just like one country. This is like an empire. It's an empire, right? So if we want to have the kind of power that shakes up the empire, it starts inside. It starts with embracing the process and getting excited about it, honestly, and seeing the benefits. And I think we're going to be seeing them. And I if anybody has any like little manifestations that have been coming through that you felt like came as a result of like doing some of this transformational work during this like recent few weeks, leave it in the comments. I always love to hear these things. All right, y'all. Well, this video has gotten longer than I intended it for it to. I was even tired. I didn't think I had enough steam. All right, y'all. Be good, but not too good. Ciao.